Morning. Hurricane Melissa made landfall in Cuba as a Category 3 hurricane with winds over 120 miles per hour.
And more than 700,000 people, including U.S. troops, evacuated ahead of that storm. And this after Melissa unleashed historic winds and destructive flooding in Jamaica as a Category 5 storm.
It made landfall there yesterday as one of the strongest Atlantic hurricanes on record after making its way across Cuba. Melissa is expected to take a toll on the Bahamas as it moves through the Caribbean. Now, so far, the storm has claimed at least 7 lives across 3 countries.
And Jamaicans living here in Atlanta are watching the weather, and they're worried about their loved ones. One man says that he hasn't heard from his daughter, who lives on the island, since before Melissa hit.
Good Day's Mark Teichner is live at the Jamaican Atlanta consulate with more on this story. Mark, I know he's praying for his family right now.
Yeah, and he's not the only one. If you think about it, a lot of Jamaicans living here in the Atlanta metro area all worried, as you can understand why when you see just the devastation that island has taken.
It's kind of scary and not hearing from nobody.
Andrew Cohen is a chef who owns a Jamaican restaurant in Northwest Atlanta. Cohen was born in Jamaica and still has lots of family there, including his 16-year-old daughter. Cohen is very worried about the damage caused by Hurricane Melissa, which he's watching online.
Seen St. Elizabeth, top of a hospital blow off, and now I can't get a hold of nobody.
Cohen was in Jamaica just last week. He talked with family members in the lead up to the storm, but says the last word he's gotten from his native land came in a text from his daughter Monday night.
My daughter texts me and asks me if I'm okay, and I tell her that. Ask her if she's okay. She said yes, and that was the last.
Before Melissa hit, Cohen sent money to family members to help them prepare and to protect property and animals he owns there. He's hoping for the best and prays power outages are the reason he can't reach his loved ones.
When a storm like this, you know, sometimes weeks before you hear from your family, weeks before place open up, everything mash up, place mash up, it's going to take a while to come back together.
But he's still not going to be really relieved until he does hear from them. He also says that he's collecting money and contributions to help Jamaica rebuild. We do have some information about how you can contribute to that on fox5atlanta.com. Reporting live from outside the Jamaican Atlanta consulate, I'm Mark Teichner for Good Day Atlanta. Back to you guys in the studio.
I certainly understand these families' concerns. Mark, thank you. Well, Billy Cagle, the Cartersville man accused of threatening to shoot up Atlanta's airport, is set to appear in federal court today for a detention hearing. The judge is expected to decide whether he should stay in jail as he awaits trial. Cagle faces federal charges, including attempted violence at an international airport and being a felon in possession of a firearm. New details this morning about a police shooting in Northwest Atlanta. Earlier this week, police responded to a 911 call at a Family Dollar store on Donald Lee Hollowell Parkway about a man making threats toward customers. Officers say that as they approached 29-year-old Otis Ponder, he ran to a shed behind a vacant home. Investigators say that the officer opened fire when Ponder charged her and pushed her to the ground. The officer wasn't hurt. Ponder does remain in the hospital.
Time now 8:06, and community leaders in East Atlanta say it's time for a new police precinct in their neighborhood. Inspectors have found black mold in the Zone 6 building on Hosea Williams Drive for the second time in 2 years. In response, leaders from 24 neighborhoods, including Old Fourth Ward, Candler Park, Ponce Highland, and Sweet Auburn, are taking their concerns straight to the mayor. They say the 70-year-old building is no longer adequate for officers.
Safety because of the mold. Who wants to work in an environment where there's mold remediation needed, not in just 1 year, but in 2 years in a row? He said he would look at the situation, come back with a set of recommendations and a plan of action.
Fox 5 has reached out to the city for a response, and we're still waiting to hear back.
8:07 your time. Could Atlanta be getting another hospital?
Well, it's been 3 years since Atlanta Medical Center closed its doors, so the possibility raises some health care hopes. Good Day's Caitlin Pratt is here now with everything you need to know. Good morning.
This is a talker, right? We've been without a lot of hospitals, or I should say the number of hospitals we're used to for the last 3 years. This proposed site is in Southwest Atlanta, not far from the Beltline, and a resource that both doctors and city council members tell us would be welcome for those who need medical attention.
The Atlanta community has been struggling since the closing of Atlanta Medical Center.
3 years ago this week, AMC closed its doors, leaving a gap in service for the city's low-income and underserved communities. And now, the possibility of a new medical facility taking AMC's place is raising healthcare hopes.
I think it's a fantastic idea.
Last week, Atlanta Mayor Andre Dickens sent to City Council a list of initiatives he'd like to see approved and funded. One of them, a health initiative in the Beltline area, simply called Project Robin, with an estimated cost of $800 million. When asked about the possible hospital, council members say they have a lot of questions that need to be answered.
Whether it's a clinic or it's a 20-story building, it's welcome. Immediately in that community, it would address the issues.
I would love to know where the hospital is going to be located. I would like to know the size of the hospital. I would love to know about an emergency room, because as of right now, the only hospital that we have within city limits that has an ER is Grady. Is it going to be a level 1 trauma unit?
So Project Robin is just one of many projects included on that list of initiatives from Atlanta's mayor. To fund all these projects, Atlanta is asking Fulton County and Atlanta Public Schools to forego some tax increment revenue in 8 tax allocation districts, or TADs. In the breakdown, Project Robin would require $115 million in those TAD contributions. So yes, we're just in the whispers of this whole plan. As details shake out, of course, we will pass them on to you.
Certainly in a city of this size with only one level 1 trauma center, something probably needs to be done.
100%.
Yeah.
A lot of high hopes there. Thank you, Caitlin.
Thanks, KP.
It's 8:09 now, and later today, Decatur City Schools will host a public hearing on the possibility of closing an elementary school and reassigning students. The meeting is set for this evening at 6:30 at Beacon Hill Middle School.
Atlanta Public Schools plans to repurpose 16 of its schools over the next few years. The district released the facility recommendations that it plans to take to the school board next week, and it involves more than a dozen schools, seeing some big changes beginning in 2027.
Good Day's Lindsay Tuman is live in Northwest Atlanta with all the details. Good morning, Lindsay.
Yeah, good morning to you, Alex and Buck. And I'm standing in front of Jackson Primary, one of those 16 schools that will be repurposed. The students here would be moving over to Jackson, Maine, which will be now a pre-K through 5 school if these plans go through. But a lot of big changes for a lot of students if everything is approved.
When word first came out about plans of potential school closings, parents, students, and teachers came together to voice their concerns.
This school is a lifeline to this community.
Dunbar Elementary School is one of the 16 schools that Atlanta Public Schools has slated for repurposing according to its new facility recommendations. Those plans call for it and several other elementary schools to be repurposed, and the school boundaries would be redistributed, adding students to nearby schools.
We have a lot of parents that walk the kids to school. I mean, if they put the people or the students over in the West End or Bama or somewhere, now we're dealing with transportation issues.
There are also plans to build new schools, convert existing buildings, and combine some schools. Atlanta Public School leaders say there is a $100 million budget gap this year and a $57 million gap next year. These plans would help save around $20 million a year and defer roughly $65 million in maintenance costs. District leaders have addressed the budget issues.
We had to take out money here and even more money here.
These plans would also reduce overall capacity by 5,200 seats, but parents say these changes could be devastating for their communities.
It takes a village, and this school is a village.
Now, one thing I really want to point out is that these are recommendations, so nothing is a done deal yet. Of course, these are plans that the school board is considering, and they're still asking for public input. You can have your voice heard at those public hearings. First one's going to be this coming Wednesday, November 5th. That's going to be at 5:30. Then there will be another public hearing the first week of December, and we'll have that information for you on our website. That's the very latest. Reporting live in Northwest Atlanta, I'm Lindsay Tuman for Good Day Atlanta.
Yeah, Lindsay, no matter which path they take, lives would be changed. Thank you.